We are glad to see you again on our channel. Today we have a recap of the movie from the world of fiction Riddick, realized in 2013. The hero is marooned on an unknown planet and fights for his life in a predatory habitat. The ending of this movie is very exciting. You're on the Yakov recap channel. Sit back and enjoy the movie. Riddick says that he has already been written off many times and considered dead.
Don't know how many times I've been crossed off the list and left for dead.
He lies in the rubble, the bird sits on his hand and starts pecking at it, but Riddick grabs her by the throat. He is wounded, sees water in front of him, and begins to crawl to it. Riddick is already picking up water and is going to drink, but its smell is strange. His leg is dislocated, he puts it between the rocks and straightens it up, screaming in pain. Riddick puts on the glasses and sees that dogs like hyenas start running at him from a distance. He crawls to the water and dives into it. He waits, holding his breath until the hyenas leave. Then he comes out and crawls out onto the shore. Behind his back, he senses someone's presence and turns around. There's one of the hyena's cubs. The puppy begins a playful attack on Riddick, and a fight begins between them. Riddick removes the round thing from his iron belt and throws it into the distance. The puppy runs after it. Riddick discovers a cave passage between the rocks and hides in it. He watches one of the hyena puppies approach the water in the cave, but the fish creature from the water attacks and severely injures it. Hyena puppies run away. The creature spots Riddick and attacks him, but Riddick defends himself and leaves the cave. He's talking about bad days, and very bad days, and today is exactly this day.
There are bad days. And then there are legendary bad days. Whole damn planet wanted a piece of me.
He can't stay out in the open, so in another cave he climbs under a big stone block, tries to sleep. He's dreaming about what happened to him before, and he doesn't understand how he let himself be blinded like that. He remembers the necromongers and that some of them wanted to crown him and others to put a noose around his neck. Riddick recalls a dialogue with a girl who told him that the necromongers thought he was different and therefore could not accept him. This girl then stabs Riddick in the back, but does not get where she needs to, and Riddick takes her life. Commander Yakov comes to Riddick and reveals that in his first campaign, they met strong resistance, which took the lives of everyone indiscriminately. Yakov also says that he still remembers their last warrior, whose eyes were the same as those of Riddick. Riddick tells the commander that he needs to find the planet Fury. He replies that it has been erased from all archives. But Riddick knows that the commander remembers its location. The commander says he needs the crown and immunity, then commands to prepare the airship because Riddick is flying home. Riddick says a man with a crooked face was supposed to bring him to Furia, but something went wrong again, and Riddick was brought to another planet, just not to Fury. Upon arrival, Riddick tried to deprive life, and now he's forced to survive on an unknown planet full of angry animals. Riddick discovers that behind the passage of the cave there is another world, with water and grass. If you want to get there, you need to pass poisonous creatures in the water. Riddick captures one such creature and extracts its poison, injects poison into the puppy hyena, which he cured and put in a cage near himself. After observing the puppy's condition for a while, Riddick injects poison into himself in small doses. Riddick wants his body and that of the puppy hyena to develop immunity to the venom of the creatures in the water. Sometime later, when the organism is ready, Riddick fights creatures in the water and goes out to the other side of the cave with the puppy hyena. Riddick notices a room in the distance and heads there. On paper, he realizes that there were bounty hunters there. He finds some loose stuff and takes it for himself. Riddick trains the puppy hyena. Then, when the clouds are gathering in the sky, he goes back to the building and presses the button, Emergency Lighthouse. The program scans Riddick and says that at the station there are 7 mercenaries, 1 person is found alive, and this is Riddick, an escaped prisoner killer. For his body, a double reward is offered. At the same time, an airship with mercenaries flies to the building and lands on the ground. They do not immediately find Riddick, but see the inscription, "Leave one ship or die here." Mercenaries begin to exhibit equipment to catch Riddick. At this time, the main mercenary on the ship says to release the prisoner girl because they already have overweight, and he hopes to catch Riddick. The girl is released and she starts to run away from the ship, but immediately she is shot. Santana's mercenary, using a loudspeaker, addresses Riddick. He says he flew all the way out here to throw Riddick's head into a box.
To collect your head in a box! Right here!
Santana notices another approaching ship, another group of mercenaries. He says on the radio that they have checked everything and will manage. There is no reason to land the second ship. But the second group of mercenaries also lands. They leave the ship, and the main mercenary, Johns, tells Santana that the station is open to everyone and they will just be watching. He also says that his boys won't help until Santana asks. Santana tells Johns that Riddick has activated a beacon to fly off this planet, called himself a taxi.
Basically, he was calling a taxi.
He suggests catching Riddick with the ship, removing the power supplies, and hiding them, waiting for Riddick to arrive at the ship. Mercenaries remove the power supplies and place them under the lock with detonator. Night comes. Mercenaries who stand guard on the street discuss that 11 mercenaries are too many for one Riddick. Johns talks to Santana and speculates that the night will be dark, giving Riddick an advantage. Also, the mercenary says that Riddick first tires out and then attacks. Santana says that he does not need help. Mercenaries hear the signal and see that on their territory is a puppy hyena. Santana commands to shoot at it with a silencer, but the mercenary misses. Santana mocks him for his work. The mercenaries fail the sensor. One of the team goes to fix it. At this time, a mercenary girl reveals to Johns that a predator pack with claws has disappeared. They discuss that it is strange. Johns contacts Santana and asks if they check the area immediately upon arrival, says that there may be traps. At the same time, one of Santana's mercenaries falls into such a trap. Santana orders another mercenary to retrieve the mine detectors, but the latter does not respond. Two guys from the team go to look for him, but see Blood on his place. One of the guys tells the other that he jinxed them, but does not hear the answer and realizes that Riddick took him too. The next morning, the mercenaries discover 3 casualties, 2 bodies and 1 missing. Johns tells Santana that he will take them into his team, but he gives orders to the girl mercenary, and she already commands everyone. Santana is angry and insults the girl, on what he gets a punch in the face. Johns tells Santana that they will hunt down Riddick themselves and that he needs him alive for one day, then he can do anything with him. He also promises to give Santana the award, let only he pay the team. These are the terms. Johns hands out commands and asks to show the place of the last death. Mercenaries discover the trail of the dog and then see the puppy hyena. A mercenary girl shoots a puppy and puts a tracking chip on it. Mercenaries on bikes follow the puppy, and he brings them to the cave. There they notice a man and start shooting him, but it turns out not to be Riddick, but a missing Santana's man. John says that he has been hunting Riddick for 10 years and that the man has already been deprived of life, and this is all a spectacle to gain time. A mercenary girl is tidying up at the station and hearing strange noises. Santana was watching her, but the girl quickly puts him in place. She gives Santana 2 minutes to go and guard the station. After a while, she finds Santana near the safes and becomes angry, again giving him orders. Santana attacks the girl. From above, all this is observed by Riddick. John's team returns to the station. They see the inscription "Honest Exchange" on the safe. They also discuss that Riddick has smashed the space communication media. Johns suggests that Riddick may have taken the block out of the safe and waited for the exchange for what he needed. Santana wants to open the safe and check, but the mercenary team stops him and says that Riddick may have changed the code. There is a verbal altercation between Santana and the mercenary girl, during which the whole team points their weapons at each other. Mercenaries calm down and realize that the safe still needs to be opened, otherwise they will not fly away. Everyone moves away and Santana opens the safe. Blocks are on their place. The mercenaries leave the safe open while Riddick watches through the window. The mercenaries discuss the plan. Riddick catches a mercenary who guards a safe and holds a knife on him, asking if the team is afraid of him. After a short time, the mercenaries discover that the safe is empty. They go outside and think about what to do next. One thing's for sure, as long as there are no blocks, they can't go anywhere. Riddick contacts the team on the radio and says that the backup will wait a long time if the mercenaries had this option. Johns says he will still find him. Riddick asks him to look south. He goes straight to the mercenaries, dropping all his weapons on the way. Johns goes to meet him along with 2 mercenaries. They also remove their weapons. Riddick asks what the reward is for him, but Johns says he's not here for that. He asks what happened 10 years ago on another planet. Riddick realizes that Johns is interested in his son. Riddick says that in 24 hours it is better for no one to stay on this planet and offers an arrangement.
That's your clock.
He will leave 1 block in the open and the mercenaries will be able to take it away, and Riddick himself will leave on another ship. Riddick also warns that the mercenaries are alive until it starts to rain. He is already starting to leave, but Santana is pointing a gun at him. Santana is attacked by a puppy hyena and a fight ensues. Santana takes the life of a puppy, and a mercenary girl from a distance hits bullets with a tranquilizer into Riddick. Mercenaries grab him. Riddick comes to his senses. Johns talks to him, saying that his son transported Riddick 10 years ago, and all he wants to know is if he's alive. Riddick walks away from the answer and says that soon there will be trouble.
Big drama in the next few hours. For whatever happens.
Santana takes the interrogation upon himself. Riddick warns that once the chains are removed, Santana will lose his life. Johns becomes angry and asks Riddick to answer his questions, spend at least the last moments of his life not as a savage. It starts raining. Scorpions start attacking the station. Only Johns and the mercenary girl stay alive. Johns decides to cooperate with Riddick, but the Santana team points a weapon at them. Santana's legs are released and he manages to deprive Santana of his life with his own weapon. Scorpions rush into the building. The team agrees to the terms of Riddick and frees him. Mercenaries and Riddick sit on bikes. They rush out of the station at speed and ride for the power blocks that Riddick has hidden in the cave. One mercenary tries to stop Johns and flip his bike, but Riddick rescues Johns. The team arrives at the cave. There, Riddick tells Johns what he wanted to know. He says that his son was an addict and he lost his life because of morphine.
Your son liked his morphine.
Riddick gives the mercenaries a power block, but mercenary Diaz again tries to take John's life. Riddick saves Johns again, and this time in a fight takes the life of Diaz. Before dying, Diaz ruins his bike. Johns and Riddick realize that their bike is also damaged, and they have to walk back. Johns and Riddick go towards the ship, making their way through the scorpions. One of the animals injures Riddick, and Johns escapes with 2 blocks. The wounded Riddick continues to fight off the scorpions. He is almost surrendered, but Johns arrives. Mercenary girl pulls Riddick out. He takes 1 ship as they agreed and flies away. Finally, Riddick tells Johns that he behaved much better than his son.
And Johns, you keep a strong spine.
Riddick returns to the Necromonger ship to find Vako. He discovers there a priest, a man with a cut face and a concubine with scars. Riddick asks if Vako is alive. He is told both yes and no. Riddick goes to the window and sees the gateway to the universe of death through which all the commanders pass to become half-dead saints.